Right on, right on. Well, welcome to Low Five Gaming. My name is Luke, and this is my co-host and brother Alex. What's up, dude?
What up, bro? I'm a little sleepy though right now, so let me just bust out this wand and make myself a bed.
Take a little nap skis.
Hmm.
You, listener, have made it to our brand new pod of Zelda Echoes of the Wild. Oh man, that's my bad. Zelda Tears of the Wisdom. Oh damn. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and you play as Link. Just kidding. You finally play as Zelda. Who would have ever thunk, dude? What is up? It
It's
is our
happening.
brand new, totally not completely dropped out of the wild, but like announced within a year, 2.5 to 2D-ish Zelda game. You thought that genre of the Zelda franchise was dead. It is not. It is back. It is better than ever. How you doing, my guy? Now that you've rested up on the bed while I gave that little soliloquy,
It's
how you
all I
doing?
needed, man. My hearts are
Recovered
back
all your
up.
hearts?
They
I
are
have
recovered.
an immediate confession to make, which is that another joke I should make is that this is Zelda bed emulator because you just make beds and bed bridges and bed
Dude,
towers.
especially in the first few hours. Like
Dude,
I do it less now, but at first I was like, this is all I'm doing is
all
making beds.
all day long beds. And like I rested on a bed for like a few seconds when I first started playing, and I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's a cute little animation," and then got up and ran around. And then I was talking to Tyler at work, and he's like, "Yeah, isn't it nice you can just heal up anytime you want?" And I was like, "Fucking what?"
Yeah, dude. It
That's
is.
fucking what? I've died like three times when I didn't need to die.
Yeah,
Because
it's kind
it
of wild. Like it's never to my now aside from like this game has it too, but like the hot waters, like the hot springs that you have in various
sure,
areas of the map will replenish your hearts, but this time you at your fingertips, right out of the
yeah.
wand is the ability to always fill up those hearts. But
Well,
it's
which
like
is
cumbersome enough where it's like I don't, it's like it definitely breaks the game a little bit, but like not really because you can be in the fray and like still
dude,
end up dying and
it
people can attack you when
solves.
you're on the bed.
I definitely died. Don't worry, but it solves my greatest Zelda pet peeve of all time, which is that my whole
Harvesting
life.
hearts.
Nah, dude, I've detested my whole life when you're on low health and you just got the doo
Ooh,
doo, doo doo,
yes.
doo doo. I'm like, dude, I've had low hearts for a minute now, and that beep is gonna kill me. So we need to
Hmm.
stop. Um, that's all the way. I mean, it was probably before Ocarina of Time, but that's when I first was
Yeah, from
annoyed
day
by it.
one.
And it's like, dude, it's it drives me nuts. So it's nice to know that I can lay down my nice Gerudo bed or my nice Princess Zelda bed and just like rest up some hearts, my dude. I love it.
I'm not gonna dig it, dude. Should we give the listeners just a quick wiki?
Yes, of
So,
course.
The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a 2024 action adventure game developed by Nintendo and Grezzo and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch. So Grezzo would be the same publishing, or not publishing, but the same developing company developer as the folks who did the remake of Link's Awakening, right?
And it should be mentioned that that game is uber adorable in that
Great.
2.5D style, and this game, therefore, is uber adorable.
Mm-hmm.
But do not be fooled. Although it is a child's game, it is kind of tricky, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's probably the most puzzliest game I've played in the Zelda series.
Indeed, and we'll
I
get
would
into
say.
that.
Yeah.
And this is a game we're on the what would we say? We're on the cutting edge of the video game release world, dude. We're not
We're
throwing our way back
we're
for this one. This one
we're in
just
the
dropped.
zeitgeist. This is not in the backlog. This is on the front burner, my dude.
Right. So we've been playing for less than a month because it came out a little bit outside of our cycle. But this game was released on
Yes.
September 26th, 2024. And it's the first main Legend of Zelda game with Princess Zelda as the main playable character. Now, if you want to get into it, there's some
Right.
people that might say that there's a possible, that you play Zelda and like some, but as far as mainline Zelda games, yes, this is the first. And a lot of people have been calling that for a long time, like calling for that. And it's cool, man. I think it's interesting. And I think it's a very familiar, the way they did it is very familiar, but it has just enough flavor where you do feel like you're playing like someone other than Link.
Yeah, I would say it is long overdue, but it was definitely delivered in a fun and exciting way. And it's not just a little reskin, although I will admit at times, like I forget I'm playing as Zelda because it's just
Mm-hmm.
this cute little little character at the bottom, and then they'll refer to me as Zelda. I'm like, oh yeah, this is different. But the gameplay is very different. So like you do feel the difference. It is unique to her, which I think is
Totally.
pretty rad.
And it's interesting. The game starts off, and you actually are playing as Link in a very like the setting is very Zelda, where Ganon, presumably Ganon is fucking with Zelda, like whatever. And Link comes in to save the day,
You're
and
in
he
like a
is OP,
crystal.
dude. Like it's great. Like you go in
Yeah.
there, and it's just like you're hitting it. You're like, it's always a good feeling when Link's stats and everything are all the way up. So you get to play with that for the first few minutes. Going, I actually lost in that first, like it's a boss fight against Ganon, and I died, dude, just because
Pussy.
I wasn't doing it for real. Like I wasn't ready. I debated, like I was like, I'm not going to tell
Long
Luke this.
time, long time listeners of the pod are fully aware that Alex cannot beat Ganon on his
Get
first
out of
or
here.
oftentimes second try. So this is in
It's very
line
on
with
brand.
greater lo-fi lore.
Indeed.
If you're confused, feel free to listen to our Ocarina of Time backlog tackle where Alex stressed out, lost to Ganon like 2, 3 times in a row, and it was
I
really
blame the
great.
3DS, bro.
Sure. But anyway, that's funny. They revealed this in the trailer. They essentially, so you knew this was going to happen before the title screen,
Mm-hmm.
which I understand why they did that, especially because, fans, even happy ones, you have to market the game for what it is in this era. But I kind of wish they would have just like totally released that into the wild without us knowing at all that you're gonna end up playing as
Dog.
Zelda. That's always been kind of my dream is that they hit you with the pump fake and then it's like, you're actually Zelda.
Dude,
But
what if they didn't tell anybody that you'd be playing as Zelda, but they called it the Legend of Link?
that'd be hilarious.
Dude, I
That
think it's
that
a missed
would
opportunity. Come on
that
now.
would tip everybody off though.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
that I know, but I just think it'd be really cool to like not tell anybody. It's always been my dream is that like I've concocted it in my head that you play as Link and you think you're gonna play as Link, and then all of a sudden it's like it's actually a Zelda game. But like they did that, but I just think consumers are insane. So like
Fuck. No one can be
they,
appeased.
yeah, no one can be appeased. So like it makes sense that they were like, this is what it's gonna be. It's pretty cool. And it has delivered, my guy.
I agree, dude.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not all the way through. I would say I'm probably half to 3/4. I'm
I think you're
um
about 2/3. I saw your time. You're about 20 to
yeah.
25 hours deep, as am I. So I think that
Yes.
you could stretch it out if you wanted to. I could as well. The homie Tyler's at 35 hours and he's loving it so much he just doesn't want it to end. So I know that he
Nice.
could be done,
Dude,
but
I love
like
that
there's
Zelda feeling. That's like
oh dude,
that's how you know this that Zelda's hitting, dude. And like that's a good Zelda game right there.
that's so true. And like, a little bit of background is that obviously, we talk about it a lot. We're Zelda boys, but you so with your affection to Link's Awakening are more of a 2D Zelda guy than me. I've
Mm,
always been pretty hardcore into the 3D and I've only done a few of the 2Ds. And I think that
sure.
has a little bit to do with the fact that I didn't have a ton of Game Boy access growing up.
Hmm.
And you're old, so you have a little bit more experience with those. What is your experience
Dude,
with 2D Zelda? Because if you're a stan for the Zelda, you know that there's basically two historical branches, which is that after Ocarina of Time, it became like that's the 3D Zelda now. So the lineage of that was Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword to the Breath of the Wilds. But in the meantime, the 2D was just going very, very strong.
yeah, so it started as a 2D game, right? So you've got Zelda, the NES Zelda games, Zelda 1 and 2 or whatever.
Hmm.
And I dabbled in the first Zelda game on Nintendo at different friends, various friends' houses and stuff. But that game's tough.
Dude, I've played them, but
Um,
yeah, they're hard as balls, dude.
and so like I never really got too far other than just like initial exploring the map, but just a little bit at the beginning because it's a game that you like. I don't know. It came back in the day. It came with a map, like a physical map. And
Hmm.
by the time I was playing it, like no one had their map anymore, and like we were young, so we didn't really care to like figure it out, anyways. Maybe. So I'd never really like. So basically, I had some sampling there, and then because it's such a big game, uh, A Link to the Past like as a game that I also played at friends' houses, but I never really spent too much time in because it's a one-player game. And like to go over to your homie's house and be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking just play 5 hours of fucking Link to the Past now. Like, you that chill? You cool with that? Like they'd
Yeah.
be like, no, we're gonna play like Mortal
Right.
Kombat or like or something
Yeah.
that we can both play.
I've played
And
it
we
on
didn't have a
emulators too.
Sure, sure.
it's kind of obscure at times too with that old school gamer logic. So like, yeah, dude, it would be
Right.
hard to like crush that one.
So I have like like I do love that game in theory, but I've never and I've put hours into it in my adult life, but I've never rolled credits. And it wasn't until I got access to a Game Boy. As you say, I'm an old man, so I was playing Game Boy when you were probably a little too young to like really fully grasp what was going on with the thing.
Yeah.
So that was like way in my youth though, and I got my hands on Link's Awakening, and dude, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Like I joke sometimes about like speed running it before speed running was ever a thing.
Yeah.
Not that I was
You're
like
breaking
truly speed
anything.
running
Yeah.
or breaking anything, but like I was so familiar with the map and what to do that I would spend a day getting as far as I can and sometimes beating that game in just a day, and you've got limited time on, one, not with the battery life, and two, with your parents being like, all right, get off of that fucking thing.
Touch some
So like,
grass, young man.
yeah, but then, as you do know, the Nintendo 64 came into our lives, and that, therefore, in turn, we ended up getting Ocarina of Time. And I think that's like that jump was amazing to me, like going from, Link's Awakening to Ocarina of Time, and then in turn, Majora's Mask. So, like, those two games, so like 64 in general, but those two games are goated, like 64
Yeah.
goated for me.
I mean,
And,
you had, oh, continue.
oh, so like this, so that the point I'd like to drive to is that I think it's very interesting where you have this evolution of Zelda from the 2D games that I just explained into the 64 3Ds, and then the evolution there, even where you go into Wind Waker, then your Wii, like, all the other shit that they ended up putting out, all the way into kind of this new territory with Breath of the Wild. Not anymore, about shit, what's that, 9 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, 7, 8, and then Tears of the Kingdom now.
Yeah. So those two games, though, like I look at those at this generation's like, whereas we got, where I'll speak for myself, whereas like truly Nintendo 64, like yes, with Link's Awakening, but truly Nintendo 64 like made me fall in love with Zelda. Now we've got this new generation of kids and us still playing, falling in love with Zelda because of Breath of the Wild. They may go back and play those other games, but the way I see it is Breath of the Wild restarted everything, right?
Yeah, and I'll weave that into my greater point, which is that I think we had Oracle of Seasons or Ages on the
Yeah.
Game Boy Color, and then I've played Minish Cap.
Great game.
You were really into A Link
Dude, Link
Between
Between the Worlds is
Worlds.
phenomenal. But
Yeah,
let me just finish this
and
real quick.
okay, sure.
I think that this transition from Breath of the Wild and Tears to Echoes is phenomenal. It's introducing a whole generation of people that came onto Zelda in the 3D Breath of the Wild like time into 2D Zelda or 2.5D, whatever you want to call it. And that transition is seamless. And like, dude, I like just playing it, like I was thinking about, like, I actually, to bring up Tyler again, who was one of the, he was in the Discord, and he was like, to my knowledge, he did a little petitioning to get us to play this game. So
You did
there you go,
indeed.
Tyler. So there you go, Tyler. But he was saying that his first Zelda games were Breath of the Wild. And I think I think that experience is so interesting to me, like me having a fuller breadth of the whole series. But like truly, this game, like if you just take that piece of the pie of Zelda of like Breath of the Wild to now, like to me, dude, I just think it threads together like the 3D to the 2D world so well. And like this, like I've been like thoroughly enjoying this, for lack of a better term, the echoes of Breath of the Wild and Tears that you see in Echoes of
Yeah.
Wisdom it's phenomenal.
So that's pretty close to the point that I was going to make, which is that you have these two parallel paths to one another for a long time, like the 3DS to or the SP to the 3DS, and now that Nintendo, they came out with the Switch and then the 3DS more or less died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's like some people were out there and they're kind of like curious. I mean, I know they released the Link's Awakening remake, but this like is 2D Zelda like dead? And then you think about 2D Zelda and its lineage, and it's like a game that you have done on a separate pod and that I've played personally, like Death's Door. So like that genre is still
Mm-hmm.
like still super out there and super cool. There's like a demand for it, but like is Nintendo gonna kind of like adhere to like its handheld past too? Because it was developing specific games for the 3DS while it developed games for, the GameCube, the Wii. and then eventually the Switch. So it's like, is this like 2D like lineage going to be respected? And then interestingly, like it's just kind of surprise dropped that like, yes, they totally have a game in the works. Who knows how long entirely it's been worked on. And then not only do they have a game in the works, but like I would say in the same way, similar to what you were saying, we did a pod on Skyward Sword.
Hmm.
And Skyward Sword is like almost a stereotype of 3D Zelda likes. It's almost like a capstone project, a crystallization of all of what that era of 3D games, starting with Ocarina of Time, is like. The dungeon structure, the linearness, all those types of things, the bosses, everything. It's so much like to a T. Like people loved it, but also people were like, this is crazy stale. Like, I can't believe we're not moving on. And then Breath of the Wild comes out. So then they come out with this new 2D game, and it's like, is it going to be like best
What's the
case
wolf one that
scenario?
was in the middle there?
Twilight
Twilight
Princess.
Princess. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it's like, is this new 2D game gonna just be like the other two games? Like I think the newest one I want to say is A Link Between Worlds, where it did some new stuff, but it was
yeah.
still kind of that same format. But instead, the best comparison to Echoes of Wisdom is the way that the 3D genre took a jump with Breath of the Wild and became this new and creative. And like, I'm just going to change up what a Zelda game means to people in the 3D space. This is
Hmm.
the same thing, but in the 2D space. So they're right back on path with each other, parallel, where they kind of touch at times with like some shared ideas, and we can get into that in a little bit. But like for this 2D Zelda game, it's not just like another one of those old school 2D Zelda games like that style. Like they have definitely taken a huge creative leap and they have evolved it. And I think that's super rad. And I've just been like, I kind of texted you at some point in this process. I was like, can't wait to just gush about this game, dude. I don't have anything negative really to say about it. I just thought like
No,
it's got a lot of wonder in it.
it does,
It's
dude.
got a lot
It's
of delight in it. It's just so sick, dude.
I mean, if you're a longtime listener, it's not we're obviously we stand on some Zelda. It's a game and a format and everything that we truly
Yeah.
enjoy, but this one it nails it, dude. And it's just kind of funny coming off of a game that I did enjoy, Control. But we talked on the last episode about how it just never had the hooks. Dude, this game is a game that I'm like, oh shit, like when do I get to pick up Zelda again? you know?
Yeah. And it's that sense of wonder and discovery too, because it's like it has that linearness that I kind of crave sometimes. Like sometimes if you're somebody who played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom and you're like, I love it, but there's just so much going on, I'm overstimulated and it made me shut down. I have the perfect game for you, dude.
Yeah.
Because Echo of the Wyndham has some linearness to it that gives you just a tiny bit more structure. And like just by definition of what type of game it is, it's so
Right.
much more contained. So like that playground isn't just so massive. It's like a little bit cozier. I mean, with the aesthetic, it's super cozy,
Yep.
but also like it's just so much more approachable. So if you're like one of those ADHD gamers who just like there's just too much going on, like dude, this game's perfect. Its little bite-sized portion is just so much like more approachable, but
It
it's
is nice,
still
dude.
so like to call it linear is almost an insult because you can go all over the place and do all sorts of nonsense, dude, and it's tight.
Right. But the gameplay itself, it is pretty linear. And that's what I kind of like about, a lot of that Zelda format. I like being able to progress through the dungeons. But it is interesting. You're right. Like it is a semi-open world because when you're out in Hyrule, like you can go wherever you want. And because you have these new powers where you can basically summon all these different things, like
Yeah.
you can break the game, you can
Let's
break the map, you can find yourself in areas that you wouldn't normally be able to get to in a traditional Zelda game of this type.
let's break that
Similar
down
to
for
uh
the
similar to like Breath of the Wild Tears.
Yeah, let's break that down for the uninitiated. Essentially, you have a wand that's your sword. Ironically, you
Yeah.
can kick into
Triwand, I think.
sword. Yeah, you can kick into swordsman mode where you're basically just Link.
Yeah,
But you
totally.
have like an energy meter on that, and it's kind of nice to pull out on occasion. But the real appeal of this game is to play as like the more unique Zelda play set, which is you have this wand and you take like echoes. So if you defeat an enemy, you essentially similar to like a Pokemon, you like kind of collect like its essence and then you can deploy it and use it. And you have these little triangles and like so like a rock was going to take up like one triangle. And do you start with like three or four? Do you remember? I know I'm up to like five now.
Yeah, I've got five too. I can't remember if it's two or three. And for clarity's sake, the triangles are attached to your little homie companion
Yeah,
whose
the
name
Navi, so to
is
speak.
yeah.
just the general Zelda Navi thing. And it's really cool because you, throughout the world, sometimes you go exploring in the map and you find like this tough enemy and you're like, ooh, what's this tough enemy defending? Turns out the tough enemy isn't defending anything, but you take the tough enemy's echo and
Mhm.
now you have this super sick power that you can like deploy. So like it kind of answers that question of what's the purpose of exploring. Like the map, dude. We'll get back to that map because there's so much good things to say about the map. But the gameplay, you also have, for lack of a better term, I forget what they call it, but you have like the ultra hand, where like through your little knobby person, you can grab things and kind of move them around physics wise. And the way they're able to do some of their physics-based stuff and puzzles is actually kind of amazing considering it's a 2D game. I was like kind of surprised they're able to pull that one off. It's not crazy like Tears of the Kingdom, but it's
And I
still
think your
pretty
homie's name is
rad.
Tree, right? It's like the try
Yeah,
one and then
sure.
tree or try. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can read. I choose not to when it comes to certain things. I get the gist.
yeah.
Um,
But it is Navi, yeah.
yeah, and you have a little jump. You run into the ferry and you can wear different clothing and equipment and you can
Mhm.
upgrade how much you can wear and like just you have basically these echoes that are random things like boxes and plants, but you also have like the enemies that you deploy. So you're
Right.
either using creative things to defeat enemies or creative things to do puzzles, and it's super rad. Anything else to mention on that or anything you've run into?
No, I mean that pretty much hits it. It's so interesting because it pulls in all these aspects from, the Breath of the Wild era, but also like going back to Link to the Past slash like Link's Awakening, like all these little pieces like from Zelda, like the heritage is there, dude. And
Yeah,
I think
with your
that's I
enemies and
think that's
such.
totally and like like you mentioned, like the clothes you wear, like the different outfits or like the different items, so you can wear like a little wristlet or whatever that helps you to jump higher,
I
but you can
love
only
that
wear
thing,
one
dude.
at a time. Yeah, I forgot I
No.
had it. So like
Have you
well,
not been
maybe
to
you
the
can later.
ferry?
No, not yet.
Oh, dude, you pay the ferry and you can wear multiple items of clothing, dude.
Right on. I gotta go find this fairy.
Yeah, dude. Makes your life a whole lot better.
Yeah, dude. You also saw the little outfits though. So you get like basically Link's hood at the beginning, and you look pretty much just like Link. Then you end up getting kind of your standard like Zelda, Princess Zelda wear.
hmm
Do you got the cat suit?
I'm on, so I have the thing where I can wear multiple items, but I have not gotten that yet. I'm near that area,
Yeah, so it
so
allows
to
you to talk to
speak.
cats. It doesn't really do anything, but which is fun.
Yeah,
But it just looks super cute. I mean, it's basically like the Mario and Princess like,
classic Nintendo.
yeah, dude, it's
They're
so
gonna
cute
sell
though. Like
so
I
much
just
fucking merch with that, dude. I swear.
probably
They're like,
probably
we need costumes for merch.
it is funny though, dude. I find myself just wearing the cat suit because it's just adorable.
Yeah. So you might hear some people complaining that you don't have the classic Link combat. I think that's silly.
Dude,
Approach the
but you
game as a
do is
different.
the thing.
You
Like you can
can
go
when you
into
do in
that
the sword
swordsman's
fire
mode.
more. Now you'll run out of that pretty fast, which is frustrating. But
Yeah,
like
but dude,
really,
I've leveled my meter up to 3, and I think it goes higher. Like that's
yeah,
plenty of time. Like,
true. The point I was just gonna make though is like I like to like test out the
it's
enemy
fun,
AI will admit isn't always the best, but I like deploying a bunch of
dude.
enemies or a
You
bunch of
just got to figure
spikes
out how
in
to
front
break
of my
it.
enemies and like yeah, and you just like you do goofy stuff, dude. You just like
I can't remember. I think his name is like Zero or something. I can't remember for sure, but it's one of the flying dudes that spits out bombs. He only takes like maybe two. I can't remember if he takes 2 or 3 triangles, so you can't get a whole bunch of them on the screen at once. So I think it's 3, right? But if you
yeah,
just keep rapidly like conjuring him out there, he immediately will spit a bomb out. So it doesn't even matter if he sticks around. You just keep conjuring more and more, and all of a
I
sudden you
don't
got
think
this
I've run
barrage
into
of
this guy
bombs.
yet. I like
Dude,
that.
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like you can just find different ways to like basically cheese out your enemy sets or and like they become weapons. So like that's been cool for me. Like there's just other fun things. Like I poked around just a little bit on the internet and I see a lot of people like breaking the game or trying to get to different levels, height levels or whatever in different puzzles by using the water blocks, which is cool. A lot of people make the bed, making like bed structures.
Gotta
I
make
like,
bed towers.
dude, I like doing a lot of times I use that big block that like it's like a platform block that basically goes up and then slams down once you're like close to it. So I throw one of those out there
The
and then I
yellow
hit it.
guys?
Yeah, but I throw one
Dude,
of
I
those
never
out there.
killed one of those guys, and so I
Oh,
don't have the echo.
dude, see that's funny because we're both playing about the
Yeah,
same amount. We're having completely
yeah.
different experiences because of the our echo sets.
That's
I like to throw that out with a trampoline. So I'll like because I forgot about my wristlet thing to like make me jump higher,
yeah.
so I couldn't jump onto them. So I would like throw one of those up, throw out a trampoline. Then I jump on the trampoline, get on there, and it brings you up to basically the highest point, which is like been tight for like doing things. I have a cloud now, so like I can
Mm.
basically build cloud staircases and shit. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
wild.
a big appeal of the game is the creativity, and it's like it's also why it's really fun to talk to a friend about it who's also playing the game because Tyler and I work together, and I'll be like, dude, I was not in no mood last night, and I couldn't get past this puzzle, and it took me ever, and then finally I did this, and he's like, oh, I did this, and he used completely different echoes, and one funny example is like you're in the Gerudo area and you're doing one of those rifts which helps you get to the main place, but there's like this big tower surrounded by quicksand
Mm.
and you couldn't build beds up to it. You couldn't build like a bed bridge and jump over there. So dude, I was playing with stuff for like ever
You got the
trying
boots
to
to make it so you don't fall into the quicksand.
didn't matter because it was
Oh,
more about like I had to build something to
oh,
get up
because
to
the
this
stuff would.
tower
All
to
right,
get
sure, sure.
yeah, or like even if I did do it fast enough, like it wasn't it was too tall. I ended up summoning a bird, grabbing the bird, and then gliding over there, and I was like, that took me way too long. And then I talked to him, and he's like, those tiles that come out of the ground and then go flying in whatever direction.
Yep.
He just used one of those to glide over. I was like, God damn
Mm.
it.
I use those a bunch, but it's like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have to kind of like once you figure out what the echo does and like how to use it to your advantage, like it can totally change the trajectory of your
Yeah.
gameplay. Like I
And
didn't realize
even
at first that the Kisi, like the bats or whatever, that
yeah.
you could latch onto them and then float places. Like
Yeah, so
and
it's
I was
basically I
like,
did that with a bird. And then I'm talking to my neighbor, and I didn't even really know they gamed. I just saw they had like a little Zelda hanging on their mirror in their car.
oh nice.
So I was like, "Oh, you guys play games?" He goes, "Yeah, I just got the new Zelda or whatever." I was like, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, one of his favorite things is that he'll struggle with a thing, and then he'll finally like get there, and then he'll look up a guide, and then he'll notice that like the guide tells him to do wildly different things than he
Yeah.
did to like. So even if you're not talking to a friend, like still like it's funny when you get stuck. Like I do encourage you if you play this game and you get stuck, like just try goofy shit. Cause like
Hmm.
sometimes when it works, you feel so good and so smart.
Yeah. Dude, I've hit the YouTubes for a couple things. Like
Oh yeah,
with
for
any
sure.
Zelda games, like I'm
Yeah.
just like I try and if I get real stumped, I'm like, okay, I'll look it up to see what's going on. And it is funny because like depending on whatever like video I land on, like sometimes like I'm always like amazed at walkthroughs when basically folks will like run through an entire game like when their player's way OP'd. So like this person's like, oh, defeat him this like doesn't they don't talk or whatever. But basically I was watching there was a fight that I wasn't like I got dude, I walked in, there was this huge wolf and like I don't know, the wolf like summons two other little wolves and they just mop the floor with me. And I was like, how am I supposed to beat
Hmm.
these fights? Then it wasn't that hard once I like just tried harder.
Yeah, there's
But
that too.
yeah, right. But like so at first I was like, well, I wonder how they're the internet's beating these guys. And the person had like a Lionel Echo, which I do not have. So like, well, yeah, I got fucking take them
Yeah,
down if
you're
I
gonna
had
have
that
a
too.
lot more of an issue fighting that Lionel than those wolves, I tell you what.
Oh, I bet they're
I
they're a
haven't run
pain in the
into it,
ass in
but
Breath of the Wild.
oh
So
yeah. Yeah, no, there's this one where you get into this room and there's these two platforms that are uneven and they have these switches that you have to hit at the same time or they don't work.
hmm.
I'm not sure if you've been there. And
Yep, I
like,
use the internet to figure out what the fuck to do there.
dude, I'm really proud of it. So I was
Oh,
just
you
like,
figured it
okay,
out.
dude, well, here's the fun of it. So I threw a bunch of stones. I summoned a bunch of stones on one side and I just watched what happened when the platform went all the way up because it's like a scale thing with those two. Then I was like, wait a minute. So I summoned a bed that overhung the edge.
Okay.
And then I went over to the other side and then I took away a bunch of my blocks. So then it leveled out. And then right as it was about to
That's
land
funny.
on the switch, I jumped on the other switch. So it hit him at the both at the same time. And I felt so fucking smart.
Oh,
Then
dude, that's tight.
I talked to Tyler about it. He goes, dude, you just take those like stone guys that march and you put two of them down and they both hit it at the same time. I was like,
Oh, that's fucking
well,
smart, Tyler. I fucking pushed ice blocks and then timed it to the same to do it correctly.
that's three different ways, dude. Or I guess you saw it online, but like that's three
Yeah.
different ways that you can like solve the same puzzle. And I just thought like I my idea might not have been the most practical, but like
But it
I don't know,
worked.
I thought it was fucking cool and it like felt really cool when I did it. And like when I decided that was the strategy, like I got like excited and I was like, dude, this is gonna work, dude. It was like this goofy little like I have a hypothesis, let me test it out. And it totally worked and I was really giddy about it and it was tight.
Nice. Dude, that's so this reminds me of just the gameplay aspect. We've been kind of covering all the top down like 2.5D aspect of it, but it has a side scrolling, I guess, aspect,
Yeah.
which harkens back to your Link's Awakening. It did that, and it was such like a novel, cool thing on the Game Boy.
Yeah. I'm
And
a big fan.
dude, it's great, and they do it a lot in this game, and I think they do it so well. And it's just so interesting too, because like not only does it kind of shift the whole perspective, but all of your move sets and echoes like still it's still applicable to what you're doing, and
Hmm.
it's
I
like
thought that was pretty crazy.
dude, it's pretty interesting because like it's something that you don't even really think about. It's just so smooth, you know, like when you hit that other side scrolling perspective, like you like it doesn't like there wasn't like a thing that maybe it's because we play a lot of video games, I don't know, but like there wasn't like a
Mhm.
shift, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it was difficult for me to understand that like
No,
all these things are going to work the same just from a
the
different view.
logic holds up and the creativity is still there, but
Yep.
it's that sense of wonder and like creativity that the developers are just kind of guiding you through stuff. And I just thought that was so cool. It has to be mentioned, dude. It's the return of a good dungeon. It's been some
Yes.
time. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are two of the greatest games ever made, but the dungeons fucking suck, dude.
The dungeons in this are good, dude.
Dude, they
Um,
are. And the bosses are also cool. I like a few of the bosses. That fish boss where you got to hit the things on his back or belly. I thought that was such a cool boss fight.
it was like I don't know, you guys were fucking loving it in the Discord, and I was like, I just got that. I don't know.
Whatever, dude. This shit was fucking cool.
I mean,
And
it
then there
was
was like
cool.
water pockets and air pockets. I just thought it was a gnarly fight, and it wasn't too hard. There's another one I thought like the spider thing. That was like okay, but like I just think
The
the like a
you did a
huge
dragon
part
yet?
of no.
Yeah, the dragon's
Wait.
pretty dope.
Because I've done
I
no,
think
I
it's a
went to the Deku. I went to the Deku place
yeah, that's where I'm
for
at
my
now.
first post for the first post, whatever, when you save
Okay.
her
Yep.
dad.
Yep.
That's the first dungeon I've done. I think there's three in total
There's
after that.
there's
Or
three, and I've done two of them. That's I'm now doing the one that you're talking about as my third.
oh, you're more on the straight and narrow. Dude. So I love the dungeons. I love that they brought because like one of the best characters in all of the Zelda games was the dungeons and the theming of them, and I always
Mm-hmm.
thought that was so fucking rad. But Breath of the Wild, what it had going on is if you physically looked at the map and you're like, that's an oddity, and you went over there, you were always rewarded with something. This game totally has that too. So it's like
Does
best of both worlds, dude. So I've just been going on the
it,
overworld and I'm like, that's a
it's a
weird shape for grass. And then I cut it and there's a reward.
sure.
And I'm like, let's fucking go, dude.
It's adopted the I think Breath of the Wild did this, and I know Tears does for sure, but where it kind of has like a little mini dungeon or a little gauntlet type of like a platforming gauntlet type thing before the dungeon. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So like before
Hmm.
you get to the dungeon, there's usually a stretch that you have
There's
to
like a
like
path.
traverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Sometimes it can feel a little like just want to be at the dungeon, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not really that big a deal.
I
Like
think the
it's fun, you know,
creativity
it's
is good
fun, yeah.
where, yeah, they're
And it
tight.
kind of
And
preps
there's,
you for like what's going to happen in the dungeon a little bit too. And like
yeah.
on all of those bosses in true Zelda form, you end up I mean you can definitely tackle them in different ways, but typically you end up using some of the new echoes that you found or some of the new powers to defeat them, which
Hmm.
is always fun as well.
Yeah. And like, so they call them rifts. It's like kind of a dark world
Mm.
thing, kind of like alternate, they're like a pocket in
Similar
time and
to
space
what's
type of
going on
shit.
in Tears.
Yeah, or even if you want to go all the way back to Link to the Past, um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the dark
True.
world of that. So
True.
they're cool. So there's like a lot of mini riffs. So a lot of little of these like mini sections that almost remind me of like Toad Treasure Tracker or like
I could see that.
it's like some Super Mario stuff where it's just you got this little platform area and you kind of got you
Mm-hmm.
got some enemies, but it's mostly about figuring out how to get to these three or four or five orbs and
And I guess it's a little bit
it's
of a collectathon.
yeah, no, it's just so it's just tight and like you're so much rewarded for exploration. I've talked already about how you get the unique echoes. You get items, which are pretty cool, but like I do hate it when you unlock a chest for doing something cool and it's just
You get
rupees,
50 rupees
which at least they
or
have
less,
lots of
sometimes
things to,
20. I'm like,
dude.
fuck me in the ass.
At least you have something to like spend them on in this game, but
Yeah.
like it's real dumb dumb sometimes.
There's
Well,
also not a
most of the
wallet,
time.
which I appreciate. Like a, you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
dude.
about? Like a maxing out your
This is probably the dumbest thing about Ocarina of Time is just like you have a bigger wallet, and I'm like, there's nothing to buy in this game.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
what am I
that's
gonna do
true.
with 200 rupees now? So in this game, like, yeah, but you can get lots of items. You can get like these things to upgrade your kind of swords fighter ability, like you mentioned earlier. You can
Hmm.
do the energy, the sword, the bow, or whatever.
Yep.
Like, there's
Just
a lot of times
bombs.
it's almost like the Korok seeds where you lift up a rock and they'd be like, "Ah."
Yeah.
Instead, it's like those energy things. So like,
Right.
dude, the map is gorgeous. And I just love that I can look at the map when I unlock an area and I can go, there's something over there. I'm gonna look over
Mhm.
there and I'm gonna look over there. Like I just love scratching that itch. And
Yeah, because
this game does that so well.
in the menu screen or whatever, it's similar to Breath of the Wild tiers where you can like the select button brings you to I think the map and your and your quests, and then the start button, the menu button, I think is what they call it these days, will bring you
Whatever.
to yeah, it will bring you to all your items and whatnot. But anyways, when you first go to the map, I love what they've done there where it's like a hand drawn map that has like I don't know how much you've zoomed in on there, but it's like pretty detailed. Like it shows you all of Hyrule, but then as you traverse, it will like it will basically
Yeah, like
fill in
instead of
those sections.
fog, it's like a rough draft, hand
Right.
drawn, like
It's pretty
sketch.
cool.
And then once you go over there, it's like the map. Yeah.
And I also like per the map, dude. Like, not only is it fun, not only does it invoke that sense of wonder that you've been talking about, and it's just like very rewarding to just traverse all of Hyrule, but I think that they've taken it's interesting because like in other games, like a good example is you brought up a link between worlds earlier, and that is pretty much a one-to-one map of Hyrule from A Link to the Past,
Right.
right? With like, but where that might be the expectation because you're back in Hyrule, like they've evolved Hyrule. They hark back to certain things, and I've
There's lots of
seen
homage to different things.
right, but it's like I
Yeah.
do feel like the map is closer to like they've just expanded it. They've made Hyrule bigger, but it's not overly large. Like you can definitely get to one end to the other, like if you get on your horse or whatever, and you can teleport using those little whatever you want to. They look like little air
Very,
hills.
yeah, very accessible. Very
Totally.
easy to get around. It's very cool.
But I just love that, dude. I love that it's like a very detailed map. I love that it like has that familiarity to it, but they've expanded it. They've made it bigger, and it really does a great job of just
How about
like,
that fucking stamp guy? Bring back Tingle, you
oh,
fucking
God,
cowards, dude. Bring back
dude,
Tingle, you cowards.
I was so upset. I mean, I'm a Tingle stan, dude. I love me some Tingle.
Hop, yo, including.
So I was
I've
like,
seen the
what?
tights in your house.
Dude, man, Tingle for Halloween would be dope.
Oh man.
But dude, like,
Oh
I
man.
just couldn't believe. I mean, like, it's the same character. Why would you change? Like, why would you make it Stamp Guy? He's
Bring
like the
bring back
same
bring back
dude.
Tingle,
Bring
you
back
fucking
Tingle for
coward.
sure. Like, this
Yeah.
is, I don't know,
Unacceptable. I'll take
dude.
evolutions and new things, but bring back Tingle, you
That
fucking
was a
cowards.
choice. What do you think? What do you think the team at Nintendo was like? We need to change Tingle to Stamp Guy. Why? Why?
Yeah. I have very few complaints about this game, but one of them is that stamp guy should be fucking Tingle.
Dude, totally unnecessary. I don't know why they did it at all. You know what? Fuck this game. 0 stars.
Zero
Just
stars.
spray
Bring
it.
back Tingle, 0 stars.
Dude, that did bum me out, especially because it is like a one-to-one character. Like the character, I mean, like he looks different, so it's not one-to-one, but like in essence, that dude's
This
Tingle. So I'm like, what are y'all
the
doing?
spirit is 100% Tingle.
I don't want to say anything nice about the stamp guy, but I will. But I will, dude. When you get a stamp and it goes to your little stamp sheet, and like you get the stamp, and then like it changes the animation style up, and you got this dude that's like big beefy and like I don't know, dude. It's kind of fun, dude. I love
Hard for
it.
the stamp guy, dude. Hell yeah.
No, I hate the stamp guy, but like I
You got a
do.
little boner for the stamp
It's the
guy,
same
man.
shit that Tingle did. You know, when you would like get that quick screen of whatever he was doing, and it's just like I don't know.
It's whimsical and goofy, that's for sure.
Totally.
I hate the smoothies though. I hate the smoothie
That's what I
system.
was going to bring up too.
Um,
It's okay. I don't mind
why
it.
do I pay to have my smoothies created? Why is it so clunky? And
Dude, it's some.
why is a girl got to be eating smoothies? Why can't she eat some
I
food she
re- I
wants
read
to?
I read an article about that.
I
I
read the
don't know who
same
put it
one.
out. It's fair, dude.
At
It's like
first, I was
a
like, oh,
gender
for
trope that they
real?
shouldn't have done.
At first, I was like, for real, and then I processed it for a minute, and I was like, yep, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
So,
no.
and the author did a nice job of being like, hey, I'm joking, but I'm also dead ass serious. But I'm
Yeah, no.
joking,
It
but
was
I'm
fair,
dead ass
100%.
serious. And I was like, all right, cool. I liked the line of it. It reeked of a decision where all the men were out of the office that day. I was like, oh,
All the
that's
women were out of the office.
oh, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, the men were left in charge to make a
Right, right,
choice. And
right.
yeah, yeah, no, I thought that was a bar. That was a bar. I thought that was funny.
No, that is good, dude. And I think that's totally fair as well. Once I read that, I was like, shit, she right.
Is that
I'm like,
Polygon?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good point. And I also previously already hated the smoothies, so I was like, fucking
Yeah.
go off, girl.
It's like classic Zelda, like capitalism though, where the whole reason you're doing it is like they have you basically out there making recipes, but you're also paying to get them done. And then the dude, as you like make more and more of them, because I've done 30 recipes now or some shit. Cause
Yeah.
like, I'm into mini games in Zelda too, dude. And that's like one of their mini games going out there. And I can't even remember what I got awarded with. I don't even think it was that dope.
Dude, I just think it's tedious and it's like I guess you have the
It
bed
is
to
a little
just heal
tedious.
yourself, but it's just like it's tedious and like I actually really always enjoyed Zelda Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom's cooking system, and then they made it even better for Tears of the Kingdom. And then I'm just like, I don't need you to have a crazy robust system, but like, what's with these fucking smoothies, dude? It's fucking lame.
Yeah. So I mean, it does give you like it gives you boons, right? So if you mix and imagine stuff, like you'll be able to have like breathe underwater longer. It might like reduce damage intake, that kind of stuff. So I know why they did it, but
They just
it's
didn't
not
need to
my
be
favorite part
smoothies,
either.
dude. This is stupid.
I
And
mean
I
that's true.
it
That was
shouldn't
another
take
choice.
it shouldn't take me as long as it does to make them. I shouldn't pay $10 every time, and
I am surprised about that, but like you said, like the money
it's
is like,
just
dude, you're
silly.
flush with cash in this game.
No
Like,
doubt. I just it's
especially if you're
tedious.
like me and you go around cutting every single piece of grass.
But you also haven't been buying the outfit extender to extra accessories.
That's true. Did you just get it? Have you gotten that? I can't remember what they call it right now, but it's like the mechanical thing. So you get it from Dampy, who's like some sort of like.
No, I don't have an Echo that shoots fire out of its butt to move forward. So,
Oh, you do though. That one's a little confusing. It's one of the moth things.
hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird.
Says I didn't seem to have anything that fit that description, so I didn't finish him up yet.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
like it's the one that looks like the Pokemon.
right next to Dampy's cave, I feel like they played with your expectations a bit. So you have this rock in front of this switch, and on the other side there's a chest. Did you get that chest?
I can't recall.
Dude, I was embarrassed how long it took me to
I
figure
think
it
I
out
did.
because my instinct was just take the ultra handy thing, grab the rock, move it forward, drop it. But it's perfectly spaced where you're just in front of the switch. So I'm trying to like grab it from different angles and like figure out like trying to like put fans on it to blow the rock. Like nothing's working. And then I was like, wait a minute, dude, you fucking moron. I just moved the rock to the side and then spawned the little jumpy stone guys and he jumped on the switch. And I was like, I feel so fucking dumb. But I didn't use the internet and I figured it out, okay?
There you go, bro.
Yeah, I had a laugh, but I was also like, sigh. There's 3 minutes to 5 minutes of your life. You're not getting that.
Indeed. Well,
Yeah.
shit, man. We should probably rate and recommend this game. So,
Mm,
even though there's way more to cover, and we haven't beat this yet, so we may come back. We'll figure out a way to continue this conversation, whether it's in side questing or whether we do something a little special. I don't know yet.
no
But
doubt.
how many how many tree triangles
I
out
was
of
wondering how
five?
you'd figure that out.
How many tree
It's
triangles out of five are you giving this game? Initial rating.
This Echo takes a full 5 triangles.
Oh boy.
Love the game, dude. It's exactly what I wanted. I am not a traditional 2D Zelda guy, but I think the way that they evolved it forward with the Breath of the Wild stuff, like I mentioned earlier, I thought that was the perfect way to like make the 2D Zelda still really important and something that I hope they maintain throughout their next system and lifespan. I think that they did a perfect job of just like really making sure that it had a place,
But
if that makes sense. And you want me to do, and who I'd recommend it to? I mentioned this earlier, but for all those folks out there who were overwhelmed by Breath of the Wild, but jealous of how much fun people were having, I just think this is the bite-sized version for you.
Yeah, dude, I think that's fair. I think that's
Yeah.
fair. I'm also going to give it 5 tree triangles out of 5.
Zelda boys, Zeldaing it up.
Indeed. There's really like, I know that some people are complaining about frame rate drops or whatever. I haven't really noticed that.
I've noticed the tiny bit. I think people just love arguing about tech specs. I
Yeah,
think that's just a cottage industry of itself.
right on. Yeah, so that's like, I mean, technically, I think it's sound. I think the music in this game is great. Like, I love the art style and the gameplay. It truly is the evolution of a 2D Zelda, like sprinkling in, the echoes of Breath of the Wild tears in there, like really it's pushing it's dude, I didn't know, like I don't know, it's like I didn't know, like how can you go back to a 2D and make it good. Like I think Link's Awakening was like a fantastic remake because it was pretty much 1-to-1 just reskinned. And if they would have went back to like just that format, it probably would have felt a little stale, probably. But I think there's enough going on with this one where it really does push it forward. And I think it's a phenomenal Zelda game. Like honestly, like I'm looking forward to not rushing through, but like getting to rolling credits, and then it could honestly be up there and like
I had to
I
force
mean
myself
top
to
five
beat.
for sure.
It's easy, dude. No, I had to force myself. Minish Cap is really good, and I had to force myself to beat it.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
dude,
had to motivate
Majora's Mask.
myself.
Majora's Mask, beloved by so many, and like that one, like becomes a bit of a. It becomes a little stale towards the end, a little too like
Yeah,
you just
plus
have
you gotta
a
have a
a little
guide
much.
and all that. So yeah, no, this game is it's a breath of fresh air, dude. It's fucking sick.
Indeed. Well, shit, man. With that, let's take a little break, hear from our unsanctioned sponsor, come back with some side question. This episode is unofficially brought to you in part by 2 unsanctioned sponsors. That's
So many
right.
unsanctioned sponsors.
Low Five Boys are pulling in that unsanctioned sponsorships.
We're Zelda boys, so we're not
Mhm.
afraid to admit that over the course of the unsanctioned sponsored spot, I've never been afraid to admit that I'm a dirty bitch who likes McRibs. So as much as I don't care for the company of McDonald's, I still frequent it from time to time, especially when they bring back the motherfucking bagels.
Dude, I knew you were gonna bring the
Dude,
bagel,
of
the
course,
bagel
I've been
joint.
talking about it, and you have this decent but still unacceptable take that the sausage, egg, and cheese bagel is superior when really the steak, egg, and cheese
Dog.
bagel is the apple of my eye. And I've been waiting for too long to have it back, dude. My wife loves McDonald's, and that's the only breakfast item I ever wanted, so I would never want to do it. And then finally, we can compromise and get steak, egg, and cheese bagels because they're so fucking good.
Dog.
And let me just tell you that although I'm sure the sausage is good, it doesn't come with the fried onions, and the fried onions are so
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that's fair. To be fair, I've not sampled the steak and egg. Is it steak and
try,
eggs? What the fuck are
yeah,
they
steak,
doing?
egg, and cheese bagel. Just try
Steak,
one
egg, and
for me
cheese.
with the
Dude, I
hollandaise.
would. Yeah, I
Ooh.
mean, it sounds good, dude. And like, shout out to the homie Rick from Pixel Project Radio. He says that shit's goaded as well.
Ooh.
And that's why we got them not bringing us in any of that McDonald's money,
But they should.
unsanctioned sponsoring us.
If I didn't insult them half the time I was about to compliment them, they might think about it. But still,
Dog,
it's so
I'm just out
good.
here. I'm out here on my island, dude. Like I will fight to the death. Like I was, what's that saying? Like basically, the point is, man, I will die for
You're
a
gonna
sausage,
stab
biscuit,
me.
egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Like that's like my hill that I will die on. Like that is that's the shit, dude. Like, and I had a sausage, egg, and cheese bagel because I was like, everybody hyping up and like people getting queuing up for these goddamn bagels. Everybody's excited about the bagel
So
being
good,
back.
dude. So
And it wasn't bad, dude. But I was like, oh man, I wish I would have got my fucking biscuit. Because if, dude, I
no,
tell you
dude,
what,
those
you like
biscuits
came
are
at me,
dry.
dude. That's what you're trying to tell me. Nah, dude, they're like delicious, man. I've never like I don't know what the fuck McDonald's doing with their biscuits, but like it is not too dry.
They're
And that's
buttered
why you
Al's
get the
biscuits,
cheese.
dude.
That's why you get the cheese. It adds a little bit more to it. Yeah, I will admit, if you just get straight egg,
Dude, biscuits
sausage,
the
biscuit,
bottom
which is
tier
what
of
they
their breakfast
sell.
items,
That's what. Nah, dude,
other
you're
than the
wrong.
hotcakes. But
Dude,
okay.
you want to really fucking step up your game? You get a big breakfast and you make your own sausage, egg, biscuit, and cheese, bro. It's so that's what's up. But
Yeah.
dude. But nah, man. Like for me, you gotta get them to slap that cheese on there. That really does elevate it. But dude, there's something about their biscuit.
Steak,
They
egg,
took away the
steak.
biscuit for a long time, bro.
Dude, they took away
And
the bagel. They
oh,
took
but
away. Why are they
that's
doing this to
acceptable.
me?
You see,
No,
that's
it's not.
acceptable.
It's their
Yes,
best
it
thing.
is. Their bagel's whack, bro.
Dude, I like
Like
the bagel better than the McRib. That's how important the bagel was to me, dude.
but the bagel itself, like the bread, the bagel, it's like mid. Like seriously.
It's fine. The hollandaise sauce does some heavy
Okay,
lifting,
see,
but
but that I understand that, and like their
it's
steak
a
might be
package
good,
deal,
but the
brother.
bagel itself is
Dry.
whack.
Mm.
It's whack and
Biscuit's
dry.
dry.
Like
Biscuit's dry. You're stupid.
I'm telling you, man. Like I fuck with a bagel, dude. Like St. Paul Bagelry, dope. Fucking like almost every bagel I've had in New York, dope. Like that fucking McDonald's bagel is whack. It's plain. It's fucking like there's nothing special about it.
It has to be plain. It's carrying the sweet, sweet, delicious fried onions and steak and egg and cheese, dude.
I don't like going on there. So here's the deal, man. I'm still gonna fuck with one. I'm gonna get you one, and I'm gonna take a picture, and I'll say officially, unofficially brought to you in part.
Alex will get himself a steak, egg, and cheese
little
bagel
side piece
to commemorate the release of this pod. What do you got? What's our second one though? Before I get riled up about this blasphemy.
Yeah, dog. This pod is also officially brought to you in part by Hot Sauce.
Yes, always. Big hot sauce community over here.
Yes, sir, dude. So like recently got even older and you gifted me some truff hot sauce. It's like truffle infused hot sauce. Pretty interesting. Have you had those yet?
I've had the main one in the past. They're like expensive little boys. So like
truffle,
I'm always curious, but like yeah, they're always like a little bit more expensive where I'm like, can I justify buying this expensive ass hot sauce? Which is why you got it as a gift. Because I was like, if it's a gift, I can justify buying.
Well, you better get your ass over here because Anna don't treat that shit like expensive. She put it on like dressing.
Oh, dude, what? Just the truffle or like the hot sauce?
All of them. She loves this. She's like she fuck with them. See, I like spicy, but Anna does too. But like, there's a threshold. Like, I can go deep. Like, I fuck with a hot sauce. Whereas like for her,
mouth burn as much as I just love the taste,
dude. I mean, like, I like both, but like, obviously, you want your hot sauce to be tasty.
Yeah.
But those are fucking fire. I've got those, and dude. I've been on a hot sauce making journey because I started a little garden, which like I was gonna say gardening, but to be frank, like fuck gardening. I'm just kidding. It's dope. But it's just not like, I don't know, whatever. It was my first year. The peppers situation turned out great. I did too many peppers in my little plot, like too many plants. Nonetheless, like the yield was nice. Today, actually, there's going to be a freeze tonight, so I had to harvest a shit ton of my peppers early.
Stardew. Hey, green peppers are good though. Our little Stardew boy.
Right, and they're almost all habaneros. So like, I have a ton of green habaneros, which I was like a little sad.
Actually,
well, see, that's good. So I was a little sad because I was like, I have so many habaneros that are like not ready to pull. But I was you told me about doing hot sauces with green habaneros, and I was reading a little bit about it. And if you're cooking with them or making sauces with them, like it's actually pretty nice. And like I thought about it in some like Yucateca. You ever fuck with Yucateca?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have a habanero. Their habanero is green.
Green hot sauces are my favorite.
Yeah, so like, dude, I have a ton of green habaneros. So like, I'm going to be making some green habanero hot sauces.
Kiwi habanero is what you should do because it keeps
interesting.
the green.
I got plenty.
Bang, dude! It's so sweet. It's good.
Right on.
I had to laugh though because our brother will send us pictures. He'll be like, here's my hot sauce haul, and like every single one that our brother
like
picks out is,
and shit.
Dude, it's always like anal rape hot sauce or like it's like hemorrhoid popper. It's like,
for real.
It's like rectal exam. I'm like, Jesus, dude, are you enjoying it?
He likes the fire.
This doesn't sound good at all.
Dude, Aaron makes fire hot sauces too. Like that beyond like just hot, like tasty ones. He's got some really tasty ones.
Turns out
his 15 pepper, like 15. Yeah, right. His 15. So I hit him up and got some tips when I made a couple different sauces. He actually put me on to salsa verde. And dude, the salsa verde I made, you need to get your ass over here and try some of that too. I was going to give you some of that, but that's too fucking good. And I've been tearing through it.
Thanks.
No, I make more like because I took more.
This man's peppers and I smoked them into chipotles, and he can't be bothered to spread some salsa verde.
I'll get you some more, dude. My first batch, I just gotta get. I hooked you up with the smogs, Brett. You get that from Mom and Dad's yet? You retrieve it?
I did.
What do you think?
Good. It's good.
You like it?
You should emulsify it more, but it's still tasty.
Fair. That's fair.
I kind of like the bite of carrot in there. I'm not gonna lie, as weird as that is.
Nice.
The little
Yeah,
crunches of
see.
carrot, I didn't actually mind.
See, I like I don't mind a chunky sauce. So like, but
No,
and I was also making it late night, so I was a little worried about the blender going too loud for my baby upstairs and shit.
heard that.
But
As that
but no, dude,
podcast quietly, as that
that was the
podcast
first
quietly
run.
down the hall.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that was my first run though, and I for like the first my first attempt, I thought it turned out pretty good. I got a little playful with it. I added some coffee. I don't know if I would do that for that particular recipe because I didn't add enough.
Really trying to activate that butthole. He needs an extra stab of coffee.
But it's like it's supposed to give it like a little earthy tone, like I don't know. And it's just like you can kind of pick it up, but like not enough. And I didn't like. There's some other I would have to. So I don't know if I would include that. Like that's the OG Smog's Breath recipe, but I've got variants now that I'm fucking with, and I got a lot more coming because I just harvested hella peppers because they're gonna be a freeze tonight.
Hell yeah. Brought to you by separately hot sauce and McDonald's bagels are back, baby.
Both burning your butthole.
Both. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, my dudes. So we both just ran to McDonald's and we're upset that they did not have bagels because it's, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. But we were able to, throw hot sauce inside and get angry at the employees. So, my dude, have you had time for the side quests? Are you properly side questing these days? Or are you just mainlining it, dude? You just main quest boy, linear Alex. What's going on?
Video game main quest, dude. I've only played. I'm trying to think about that. I've pretty much only played Zelda. I've been dabbling in.
Dude, what's that game I saw you playing on Steam, dude? You had like 70 hours.
70?
Yeah, hold up. Let me pull up the title, dude. I just saw it. I was like, dude, Al is like recommended. Al's been playing. That was like 70 plus hours. Hold on, dude. Why is Steam just updated? Now it's all annoying. I'm like, give me the store, dude. All right, here it is. So, it was under trending too, dude. Sex Route 69.
Fuck out of here.
Oh, or is it last?
Is
it Last Harem? Oh, it's Last Harem. My bad. Both on sale, everybody.
Get out of here. I don't know.
Unfortunately, not for 69% off. Yeah, 70 hours. I don't know what you've been doing on there, but
what are you just playing, or did you actually see me playing it? Like, I'm genuinely intrigued at what game this could be.
Are you playing Sex Simulator 69, or do you think I'm joking, Al?
Dude, get out of here with that shit.
You're like, are you serious? Am I playing Sex Route 69?
I've been dabbling in the Talus principle because I'm going to talk about that one with our boy Rick on Pixel Project Radio. Not too far down the road. So I got hella fucking. It made me hella sick, dude. Like it's fucking like emotion sick.
You're talking about this.
So kind of like it kind of soured me to the game. So it's been hard to get back in. But I did like I looked it up, and this game is like it's known for doing that. And the game in the options menu has various different things you can do to help with that, like anti-motion sickness. So it's like I don't know. It's just like I think it's comes from an era in time where I think that was just more like I don't know why the fuck that is, but anyways, so that one is cool. But that is truly like the only video game that I've been side questing with. But man, I got other side quests happening. Big one, the starting 5. I've been tearing through that on Netflix. Have you seen any of that yet?
Nope.
My boy Anthony Edwards in there just making me fall more and more in love. It's fun, dude. It's like a nice little windows into these different players' lives. It's done really well, and I really enjoy seeing just like the ridiculous like Anthony Edwards bits. And it's cool that the Timberwolves like to have like a little to get some national like media, have something like that, like shedding a little light on the Timberwolves is a lot of fun.
Well, Netflix has been giving Minnesota a lot of love because it started with like Formula One stuff, but they do tennis. They do pretty much a little bit of everything, but they did quarterback when Kirk Cousins was with the Vikings, and that was our first moment. Then they did receiver with Justin Jefferson, Vikings. Right. We had another little moment. And now, starting 5, we have Anthony Edwards. So the sporting world is now aware that we exist. So that's cool.
Indeed. So that one's been cool.
And dude. The Timberwolves traded for a ginger. As you can see from my lush ginger beard here, I'm pro ginger in this house. And he was talking mad shit last night. So I was like, dude, we got a shit talking ginger? It's like, As much as the cat train
Vincenzo,
hurts,
it's
if you
still
give me a
hurts,
shit
dude.
talking ginger, I mean, I'll get over it a little bit faster. That's for sure. So
And Julius, like, I don't know.
we'll see about
I
that
don't
one.
know enough
Yeah.
about Julius, and like I think that it's interesting and it could work, but like we'll see. Like he has yet to. I mean, it's preseason, so I don't know. That one sucks, dude. Like even seeing the boys like fucking just be stoked to see each other again in New York last night. Last night they had a preseason matchup. Oh, dude, it's I can't believe they broke that shit up. I get that it's a business, dude, but like oftentimes businesses forget about the human connection. And one of the things that I think was so magical about the Timberwolves last year is that they truly were a bunch of brothers. Like all of them, like looked at it as family, and they broke up the family, bro. Like so, like they might not be able to recapture that magic, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much bigger deal, but people felt the same way when they traded like Vando and Pat Bev, and that moved us forward eventually anyway. So,
I suppose. I suppose.
you know, well,
Yeah, but neither of those guys were with the team since like they got drafted, number one pick,
no,
9 seasons.
no, it's
Fucking
wild.
dude, Cat was a stand up dude for the Wolves. Like it's ridiculous, but I understand it, but I think it's still whack.
Fuck the Knicks, but I am pro cat. Um,
Indeed.
yeah, so Zelda has helped me tame my wild NCAA addiction. I won't say it stopped it, but it slowed it down.
Sure.
But that is
Dude,
a
I had the
very
opportunity to call you Coach Dukes this whole time, and I've been
uh
sleeping on it.
I name my coach Coach Dukes, and I'm started by third franchise recently, and he's Coach Dukes the third.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was obviously Coach Dukes the second. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that because I'd do that for every side questing probably for the foreseeable future. What I am going to mention is that we fulfilled a minor bucket list item, my guy. I can't
Yes,
believe this
sir.
wasn't your side quest, dude.
I
But
was ready to go next. I was good to go on to next.
yeah, well, we met up with your old friend Mike who DM'd for us, and we did a D&D one shot,
Yes, sir.
and it was pretty sick with the buddy Ace.
Boing.
He was there. Was he a dwarf too? Were he and I dwarves? Yeah.
You guys are both doors, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Mike made us dwarves. You were bold enough to make a character. Ace and I looked
Uh-huh.
at the thing and I was like, I am overwhelmed. Please, I just want to be like an archer slash like kind of a rogue like scoundrel type and not a human. So I was an archer dwarf and I actually really
Oh,
liked
so
it.
you did hit Mike with like a
Oh
little bit of
yeah,
a base. Okay,
I
interesting,
didn't.
cool.
Yeah, I gave him like I told him I wanted to be like a ranger type thing,
Dude, that's
actually, not
fun
not a
because of the way
scoundrel.
that that campaign ended up like panning out. The fact that you said you wanted to be an archer and you like dude the roll you had like some pretty favorable
I
dice rolls,
saved the
but
day multiple
you
times with
sure
my
you,
range skills.
yeah, dude. Because like I also like my dude Alistair Shadowforge is a
Not as cool as Lucas the Duketh, dude.
get the fuck out of here. Dude,
Oh,
there's
that's
like a
funny.
whole like I got deep into it, dude. Like Alistair, like I wanted you all called me Al during the thing, and I knew like a part of that would be what that works because my name's Alex. And then like obviously family and shit call me
Yes.
Al. Mike knows me in my
Yes.
Al days. So I was like, if I go by Alistair, like Al still works. So I still got to like do my role play thing. And when everybody was calling me Al, I couldn't even be upset because I'm like, well, that fucking works.
Sure.
But then the Shadow Forge, dude, because I was like, it was a play on our last name, meaning man of steel in German. So I wanted it to be connected to like the forge thing comes from that from like
What
but
a
because
dork. You really
dude
spent time on that,
we're talking
dude.
about D&D, bro, of
I
course.
know. I didn't know you put all that in there, so that's
Dude,
that's
I did.
hilarious.
So like I went through and I can't remember what the D&D official site is that walks you through like making a character, but I pulled up Chat GPT and had it kind of like as to like side like walk me through things and ask it different questions for when I was like so totally can see where it'd be overwhelming, but I had like the AI kind of guide me through some of the things where I had questions. Or if like similar to like what you did, where it's like, well, I wanted to be like this, so like, what can I do in this? And then it was like, oh, you could try this. So I'm pretty pleased with my character,
All
dude.
that preparation wasn't ready for let me speak to the nearest rat.
I know
It was a
that
deep
shit was
cut.
clowning. That
That
was
was
fun
fun.
though, dude. That was
Worked
that. You're
out.
right. Super cool. Like super cool. side quest, man, and like
My favorite
possibility of
part.
doing a full campaign sometime down the
My
road.
favorite part was Mike just being like, "Yeah, I didn't think you guys were going to spend so long in the tavern. And you just had a lot of questions." And I was like, "Dude, we played too much of The Witcher. I trusted nobody."
Right? No shit.
I was like, "Are they trying to deceive me? Is there more to this than I realized?" Like pre-Witcher, I think I would have been way easier to DM because I would have been like, "Let's go on our way." Whereas like
Yeah.
Witcher, I was like,
Check out everything.
I was like,
Nah, I think the video game background definitely, I think, influenced
yeah.
how we approach that thing, but it made it fun, dude. I think it was cool. And kudos to Mike. He did a fantastic job DMing.
He
So,
he really did. I thought his creativity was good. He dealt with us being one, he had a gentle hand in explaining things,
Mhm.
and two, was creative and on his feet. So I think that now that I've actually gone through, albeit just a little 4 hour campaign, I believe is what we took, I now have a newfound respect for just how in depth and detailed the job of a DM. That shit's sick, dude. That's really cool.
It is cool. And I can see now too, where like I've had conversations with folks where it's like, especially DMs. Like I was at a wedding where I was talking to a DM and I asked if they had played the new Baldur's Gate, and he's like, "I love it, dude. It's like way better. It's better than actual D&D." And I
Mm.
was like, "Whoa, really?" And it's like, well, he's like, "Oh, I like DM, so like I don't actually get to play." So you know what I mean? So like, and that's like a common thing with DMs is like and I think that like if you're really loving that shit, like you gotta get yourself in a game where you can role play in
Yeah.
addition to DMing.
I wish that I would have found a little community in high school when like getting together once a week would be the easiest thing in the world.
Dude, I know.
Whereas getting getting grown men together once a month is an odyssey of
Dude,
its own.
one, two, well, one, two, almost three of us. The other guy, Nathan, I believe, he's about to have a baby. We got
Yeah.
babies. So
Yeah.
it's like I would love to do a monthly, but like, dude, we sometimes it's hard to figure out when we're gonna do this.
Yeah. 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 And I
So
don't I really appreciated that we did it in person. So if you've never D&D'd, one, if you're like us in previous pods, we had always mentioned that we were D&D curious. What I would say is that definitely trying to make it happen. Um, it's just really a good DM is going to make a big difference. And then try not to do it virtual if you can. Like
yeah, being in person was a lot of fun for sure.
that was yeah, and it helps you really immerse and not looking over your shoulder or doing this other thing. It was tight. Other than the cat trade dropping in the middle of it, that kind of rocked my shit for a minute.
I remember that.
Carl Anthony got traded right in the middle
Oh
of our
yeah, I
game,
was
and
like, that's
you're
right.
like, dude, I was
It's
like,
like
you're
put
gonna
your
be
phone
home
away.
soon. I was like, dude, I just the trade. It's been
I
9
know,
years.
dude. Dude, I've been worked up by the cat trade for a long. I like
This
that night. I was
dwarf is
just,
taken aback, brother.
dude, indeed. Well, shit, brother. Let's bring this one to an end. Just like Cat's stint at Minnesota.
Oh,
But thanks
I'm gonna
everybody for
use my
listening,
cat echo and give him a hug.
dude. I know, dude. Seeing those, like I said, seeing those
Can you
boys
get a
out there.
cat jersey to talk to cats?
Yeah. Fucking A.
Ian like that
If
one?
you were also sad about the cat trade, go ahead and give us a little text. Hit that link in the show notes. You can text us. You can, hit us with the comments. It doesn't let us reply, but we can read, and we will definitely do our best to reply on the next episode. You're also welcome to join our Discord. There's a link for that also in the show notes. And I think, you're fucking awesome. Just remember that. That's all I
Hey,
got to
man.
say.
Thanks.
You
That was
too.
to
I
me
meant for
too.
the listener,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, you too, bro.
I needed it.
All
All right,
right.
man.
Much love, everybody. Much love, Luke.
Peace,
Peace.
peace.